We've got other positive news to talk about there on the South Side.
Yeah, we got finally last week, Smitty posed a question. Have you guys announced a play, or not last week, a few weeks ago when we were on, have you announced the play-by-play guy? And I said, no, I think Steve Stone's going at it alone, but
I almost forgot about it. You needed a new voice of the White Sox, as we hadn't heard anything about it for quite some time.
John, am I going to pronounce this right? Schriffen?
I can't help you,
Schriffen?
man. I have no idea.
Schriffen, John Schriffen is the new voice of the White Sox.
Did you know who he was before this announcement?
When I heard him talk, he sounded familiar, but it's hard to tell because he does have one of those voices
That's exactly what I was going to say. John Q. broadcaster. He sounds like every new broadcaster over the last 10 years. They all kind of have the same voice.
Yeah, he has an interesting background. You know, he actually started off as just like a hardcore news person.
He was Good Morning. He was a Good Morning America correspondent.
Yeah, working in New York and that, and then for the last 4 years, he's worked for ESPN and he's done play-by-play on like college basketball and things like that. The one of the more interesting storylines from it that I thought, and I just never gave this much thought, he's only the second, he's biracial, so he's half African American. He's only the second African American play-by-play broadcaster in the history of MLB baseball.
That's crazy.
And the only other guy
awesome, but it's crazy that's second.
Yeah, the only other guy is currently in Seattle, David Sims. So it's only recently that's even occurred. So kind of
always been an old boys club. Finally, they're breaking through. And that's one thing we rip on Jerry all the time, but he is all about diversity in so many levels, and this is just another example. So that's super cool. That he's trying to help break down that barrier.
There was some interesting. So I think that a little more light has been shed on the Benetti situation because
do tell.
Well, so when I was reading this article, the new guy, whatever, John, we'll just say
John.
John mentioned that part of him taking the job is that he was going to make the White Sox his priority and broadcast, basically be in the broadcast booth for all the White Sox games and then work at ESPN in the off season.
Yeah, and we talked about that when Benetti was, he's a national presence. He has college football, college basketball, all sorts of stuff, and he was
gone
asking for more and more time off to pursue those interests. So I could see why that would be appealing to the White Sox, where they don't have to deal with that anymore.
Yeah, well, they said they nixed anyone who needed to be on the move a lot during the baseball season. So
that's their prerogative. I understand. Yeah. I mean, we could rip on them if you want, but I think that's legit. I mean, it wasn't great for Benetti's position, but he's in such a unique spot, being a day-to-day baseball broadcaster, but having so many other jobs as well. Not everyone has those opportunities that he has. So it just eventually wasn't a good fit. So this sounds like a much better fit.
Yeah. I do have a concern though. When I was watching his little video, he said he's a foodie and he likes to eat food and he likes to try ballpark food. And I mean, I get worried that's going to get him off the air in probably about 2-3 years, because I know Benetti eating on the air was not Reinsdorf did not like Benetti eating the food on the air. So
he didn't like that, and he didn't think Jason was funny. So hopefully this guy is fucking funny, like a clown.
Either he's fucking funny or just plays it straight.
He seemed a little bit like we talked about, little milquetoast, John Q, generic broadcaster. He has no ties to Chicago that I could find. Isn't he from New York?
Yeah, he did. There's no Chicago ties. I did read that he went to have dinner with Steve Stone, and it was supposed to be like a hour-long dinner, and they were together for over 3 hours. And I think that was part of like what they hit it off apparently. And then he asked he asked Stoney if, like, even if I don't get the job, can we still keep in touch? And he gave him his information, and
That's
I
cool.
think that was like the seal the deal. He also had to have dinner with Jerry, so I'm sure that was a blast. But
I think mentioning Stone is the key to all of this. I think it doesn't matter who your play-by-play guy is because Stone is so fucking good.
yeah,
It's almost like if anybody can just get out, set him up, ask the right questions, and have Stone roll,
yeah,
that's gonna be a great broadcast no matter who's doing play-by-play. So
yeah,
I think certainly somebody that doesn't necessarily have Chicago ties, didn't grow up a White Sox fan. He's going to play a deferential role to Stone, just doing the basics and setting him up for
yeah.
to show his brilliance. It could be a perfect combo.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, let's see how it goes. He seems like a cool dude, and one thing he did say that I thought was really awesome is because he has that journalistic news background
Mm,
that he was going to really get to know the players and ask them questions and be down at the batting cage and bring that information to the people on the air
that's
so they
interesting.
can get to know the players better. And I'm like, dude, if you do that, I mean, that's gonna take the broadcast in an even cooler direction
Yeah,
than
that's a
where we've
new and interesting direction I hadn't
Yeah.
considered, but
We'll
yeah,
we'll see if, I'm sure he'll have the access. We'll see if that's how it goes, but I think it'll be fine. Like you said, with Stones, with it not being like a whole turnover, I think
yeah.
we'll be okay.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
yeah. If you lost Stone at the same time, it's like what
yeah,
what are we doing? Why would
yeah.
why would we even tune in?
Wordhole Media.